What is a rainbow? A rainbow is a beautiful arc of colors that appears in the sky when sunlight shines through raindrops. The colors of the rainbow are always in the same order: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Why do rainbows happen? Rainbows happen when sunlight passes through a raindrop. It gets bent or refracted. Different colors of light bend at different angles, which causes them to separate and form a rainbow. Are the colors always the same for a rainbow? Yes, the color of a rainbow is always the same. The colors always appear in the same order: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Why do colors always appear in the same order? The reason the colors appear in always the same order is because each color of light has a different wavelength, and those wavelengths bend at slightly different angles as they pass through the raindrop. Red light has the longest wavelength, and violet light has the shortest wavelength, which is why red appears on the outer edge of the rainbow and violet on the inner edge. Where can I see a rainbow? Rainbows can usually be seen after it rains, when the sun comes out and shines through the raindrops. But you can also sometimes see rainbows near waterfalls, fountains, or even the mist from a hose. Have you ever noticed that the colors of the rainbow seem to blend together seamlessly? That's because the colors of the rainbow actually blend into each other, forming a continuous spectrum of colors. Did you know that there are actually two types of rainbows that can be seen under different conditions? The most common is the primary rainbow, which is the one we're most familiar with. But under certain conditions, like when the sun is low in the sky, you can sometimes see a secondary rainbow outside of the primary one. Do double rainbows have the same color order as single rainbows? Double rainbows do have the same order of colors as single rainbows, but the colors in the second rainbow appear in reverse order. The second rainbow is fainter than the first and is caused by light reflecting twice inside the water droplets, which causes the colors to appear in reverse order. The colors of the second rainbow are therefore the opposite of the colors of the first rainbow, with red appearing on the innermost band and violet on the outermost band. In some cases, it is possible to see a third, even fainter rainbow, with the colors appearing in the same order as the first rainbow, but this is rare and not often visible to the naked eye. Can you see a rainbow at night? It is not possible to see a rainbow at night without the help of artificial light sources. This is because a rainbow is formed by the refraction and reflection of sunlight in water droplets in the air, and there is usually not enough sunlight during the night to create a rainbow. However, it is possible to create artificial rainbows at night using artificial light sources such as spotlights or lasers directed at a spray of water droplets. These artificial rainbows can be quite beautiful and are often used in light shows and other forms of entertainment. How long do rainbows last? Rainbows typically last for a short period of time, usually less than an hour, depending on the weather conditions. The duration of a rainbow is affected by factors such as the position of the sun, the size and shape of the raindrops, the amount of moisture in the air, and the wind speed. The angle of the sun relative to the observer's position is also a factor, as the lower the sun is in the sky, the larger the rainbow will appear and the longer it will last. In general, rainbows tend to be visible for a few minutes to half an hour, but they can sometimes last for longer periods of time if the weather conditions are just right. Can you touch a rainbow? No, you cannot touch a rainbow. A rainbow is not a physical object that you can touch, but rather an optical illusion that is created by the refraction and reflection of light in water droplets in the air. The light that creates the rainbow is actually passing through the water droplets, and the colors that we see are a result of the different wavelengths of light being refracted at slightly different angles. Because a rainbow is not a physical object, you cannot touch it or interact with it in any way other than observing it visually. What is a supernumerary rainbow? A supernumerary rainbow is a rare optical phenomenon that appears as a series of faint, pastel-colored stripes or bands inside the primary arc of a rainbow. The stripes are typically bluish-white and appear just inside the violet band of the primary rainbow, although they can sometimes appear on the outside of the rainbow as well. The stripes are caused by the interference of light waves as they pass through the water droplets that create the rainbow, and they are most visible when the droplets are of a similar size. Supernumerary rainbows are usually seen in the same location as a primary rainbow and can only be observed under specific lighting conditions. Because of their rarity and delicate appearance, supernumerary rainbows are often considered a special and beautiful sight to behold. Can rainbows appear in other shapes besides an arc? Rainbows are usually seen in the shape of an arc, but they can also appear in other shapes under specific conditions. For example, rainbows can sometimes appear as a complete circle when they are observed from above, such as from an airplane or a high mountain top. In this case, the observer is seeing the full 360-degree circle of light that is being refracted and reflected by the water droplets in the air. Rainbows can also appear in other shapes if the water droplets are not spherical, which can occur if they are falling as rain or if they are irregularly shaped. This can cause the light to be refracted at different angles and can result in distorted or flattened rainbow shapes. In rare cases, multiple rainbows can also appear, with some appearing above or below the main arc, or even in a V-shape or parallel lines. These are known as secondary or supernumerary rainbows and are caused by additional reflections or refractions of light within the water droplets. What is a MoonBow? A MoonBow, also known as a lunar rainbow, is a rare natural phenomenon that is similar to a rainbow but is produced by moonlight instead of sunlight. MoonBows are formed in the same way as rainbows, through the refraction and reflection of light in water droplets, but they are much fainter and harder to see because moonlight is much less intense than sunlight. To see a MoonBow, the conditions must be just right, including a clear sky, a bright full moon, and water droplets in the air, such as from a waterfall or mist. MoonBows appear mostly white or silvery in color because the moonlight lacks the same spectrum of colors as sunlight. However, some faint tinges of color may be visible if the moonlight is bright enough and if the water droplets are large enough. MoonBows are rare and special phenomena that are often associated with folklore and mythology and are considered a beautiful and mystical sight to behold. What is a fogbow? A fogbow is a meteorological phenomenon that is similar to a rainbow but appears as a colorless or white arc in fog or mist instead of rain. Fogbows are formed in the same way as rainbows, through the refraction and reflection of light in water droplets, but because the droplets in fog are much smaller than those in rain, the colors of the spectrum tend to overlap and blend together, resulting in a whitish or colorless appearance. Fogbows are typically whiter than rainbows and have a fainter and more diffuse appearance. They often appear as a faint white arc that is canted on the opposite side of the sky from the sun, and can sometimes have a reddish or pinkish tinge on the outer edge of the arc due to the same kind of interference that creates a sun halo. Fogbows are also sometimes known as ghost rainbows or white rainbows and are a beautiful and rare sight to behold. They are typically observed in areas of heavy fog or mist, such as near bodies of water, and can be seen at any time of the day as long as there is enough light to create a visible arc. What is a fire rainbow? A fire rainbow, also known as a circumhorizontal arc, is a rare optical phenomenon that occurs in the atmosphere when sunlight passes through ice crystals in high-altitude cirrus clouds. It appears as a horizontal arc of colors that is similar to a rainbow but is much more vivid and intense. Fire rainbows get their name from the bright and fiery appearance of the colors, which can include reds, oranges, yellows, greens, blues, and purples, and often have a shimmering or iridescent quality. The colors are caused by the same type of optical effect as a rainbow, with different colors being refracted and separated by the ice crystals in the clouds. The name circumhorizontal arc comes from the fact that the arc is always parallel to the horizon and can only be seen when the sun is high in the sky, typically between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. local time during the summer months. Fire rainbows are rare and fleeting phenomena that require very specific conditions to occur, including the presence of high-altitude cirrus clouds made up of hexagonal ice crystals that are oriented horizontally in the sky. When the angle of the sun is just right, the ice crystals act as prisms and create the vivid colors of the fire rainbow. Can rainbows appear on other planets? Yes, rainbows can appear on other planets in our solar system, provided that certain conditions are met. A rainbow is created by the refraction and reflection of sunlight in water droplets in the atmosphere, and so any planet with an atmosphere and water droplets can potentially produce rainbows. For example, scientists have observed rainbows on Saturn's largest moon, Titan, which has a thick atmosphere with liquid methane and ethane clouds. The rainbows on Titan would be made up of hydrocarbon particles instead of water droplets and would likely have a different appearance than rainbows on Earth, but they would still follow the same basic principles of refraction and reflection. Similarly, rainbows have also been observed on Mars, which has a very thin atmosphere that contains small amounts of water vapor. The Martian rainbows would be much fainter than those on Earth and would appear mostly in shades of red and blue rather than the full spectrum of colors, due to the differences in the atmosphere and the nature of the water droplets. So, while the appearance of rainbows on other planets may be different from those on Earth, the basic principles of their formation are the same, and they can potentially occur on any planet with an atmosphere and water droplets. Are there any myths or legends associated with rainbows? Yes, rainbows have been the subject of many myths and legends across different cultures throughout history. Here are a few examples. In Norse mythology, a rainbow bridge called Bifrost, and it connects the world of the gods with the world of humans. The bridge is said to be made of fire and light and is guarded by the god Heimdall. In Greek mythology, the rainbow was a path created by the messenger goddess Iris, who used it to travel between the earth and the heavens. The rainbow was also said to be a bridge between the gods and mortals. In Native American mythology, they see the rainbow as a symbol of peace and harmony. Some tribes believe that the rainbow is a pathway that spirits use to travel between the earth and the spirit world. In Irish mythology, it is said that the end of a rainbow is where a leprechaun keeps his pot of gold. However, if you try to approach the end of the rainbow, it will move away from you. And finally, in Chinese mythology, the rainbow is seen as a bridge between heaven and earth and is often depicted as a dragon or a serpent. How to create a rainbow? One way to create a rainbow-like effect is to use a prism, which is a triangular piece of glass that can refract light. Shine a beam of white light through the prism, and it will refract the light and create a spectrum of colors just like a rainbow. You can also use a crystal, glass, or other transparent object to refract light and create rainbow-like effects. Another way to create a rainbow-like effect is to use a mist or spray bottle to create a mist of water droplets in the air. Shine a light source, such as a flashlight, through the mist, and it may create a rainbow-like effect as the light refracts through the water droplets. While these methods may not create a natural rainbow, they can be a fun way to explore the science behind rainbows and the way light behaves when it passes through different materials. Rainbows are really cool because they're always changing. As the angle of the sun changes, the position and shape of the rainbow will also change. Rainbows are also associated with a lot of symbolism and mythology across many cultures. Overall, rainbows are a really special and beautiful natural phenomenon that people have admired and appreciated for centuries.